Hey there, Bootstrappers. I am driving my wife's minivan, and I'm coming at you with episode number 136. Woo! Yeah! All right, I am on the way to go be with my wife. I had dropped her off and realized I had forgot my morning snack. Where is it? Oh, here it is, right here. Every morning after I have my green smoothie for breakfast, about 10 o'clock, I start to kind of crash a little bit. So I get a little bit of apples and some peanut butter, and it sustains me until lunch. But anyway, we're going to have our ultrasound for our fifth kid today. We're not going to find out the gender. We are just going to just go make sure that he or she is beautiful and healthy. And even if she's not, if she's deformed or whatever, we will still love her and accept her with open arms into our family. But we are praying for the best. Hey, Dan, thanks for joining this morning. All right, just want to give you an update before I get into what I wanted to share with you. So last Friday, I went to court, and never been to court. I was actually scared. I was afraid of what to expect. You know, like I said, I had never been there, and I just, I didn't know. So anyway, this particular court for eviction has a commissioner, or it's a judge, but it's a commissioner, and they just basically said you need to go to mediation, because if you don't go to mediation, you will not like the outcome that I will impose upon you, because there will be one loser and one winner, and I will force my will upon you. And I'm like, whoa, ooh. I'm sure she said that to everybody just to scare them into submission to go to mediation. But anyway, I went to mediation, and I got exactly what it was that I wanted. Maybe not exactly. I wanted the girl out by the family out by Wednesday the 15th, but it just wasn't going to happen. So we'll be out by Thursday the 28th, I believe that is what the date is. But hey, Kelly, welcome. So they'll be out. I'm excited. I'll be able to move forward with this property. I'm going to actually sell or finance this one, and I had it as a rent, just a straight up rental. I'm going to turn it actually into a rent to own. It all depends on the condition of the property that it is. And even if it is, she says it won't be trash, but even if it is, trashed or dirty or whatever, rent-to-owns are beautiful. You find people that just want to move in. They don't care about the condition. They just want the terms. And rent-to-owns are amazing. In this particular market, I'm in Northern California. It's a very hot market right now. Rentals are hard to come by, and rents are high, so which is really good for me, because I can do a rent-to-own and I can actually charge a premium. I charge a premium as it is, but the rents have increased steadily, so I'm actually able to charge a little bit more of a premium than I did when I turned this into a rental back in March. And so I'm happy with that. This is great. So as soon as she's out, I'm going to turn it into a rent-to-own, get some money on that one, and move forward. And of course, the property is always appreciating, so that's a good thing. All right, so know exactly what it is that you want. I've been really thinking about this a lot lately. I'm like, you know what? I go after a lot of business, and then I do things, in my life. I've compartmentalized my life into 4 different categories: my physical fitness, my relationship with God, my health. Was, I guess, is physical fitness, but my relationships with my wife and my kids, and then of course my business. And I was thinking last night about my business. Where it is that I'm at. We are currently in Northern California, not by choice. It's not where I would want to live. My wife grew up here. We're here because my father-in-law has cancer, and we don't know how long he will be with us. And we had dinner with him last night, and he seems to be in really good health. He is making the choice not to go through chemo. It's not a choice that it wasn't his initial or original choice. Life and circumstances have kind of thrust that upon him due to his health. He started chemo about, I want to say maybe 3 months ago. He's stage 4 liver cancer. It was originally colon cancer, and then it metastasized to his liver. So we just don't know how much longer he'll have if it continues to spread. But anyway, he started chemo, and then his heart gave out, and he had a heart attack. And so he made the decision that by force that he couldn't do chemo anymore because his body couldn't sustain it. So we're here to support him during this time, however long that is, whether he goes into remission like it did before, or he has decided to be done. What was that? He needs to try soursop. It's a plant. You know what? Put anything you know about it, like into a link into the comments, and I'll definitely look into that. I've looked into the 1 hour cure. I myself take hydrogen peroxide daily. I drink it diluted with water, of course. But that's something that I've read about, that the 1 hour cure. But anyway, I was sitting and I was thinking, I was like, this is not where I'd want to live. This is not the business that I've designed for myself. My business right now, we are living off of complete cash flow. We own several properties that we have seller financed and or rentals, and we don't have any monthly. I shouldn't say we don't have any. We have plenty of monthly obligations, but our monthly obligations are sustained and supported by the cash flow that we have coming from our properties. And it's a blessing. From where we have come from, we've come so far. And it wasn't until this very year that we've actually received this blessing. I got to curb my spending though, because now that I have all this extra excess cash monthly, I'm like, I'm gonna go buy this and do this, subscribe to this program and this platform here, and learn this thing over here. And so I'm spending a lot more. So now my expenses have started to creep up. And I'm like, you got to go get some more properties. But I digress, and I was looking at myself last night, and I'm like, okay, where am I at in my business? And is this exactly where I want to be? And it's not. And I realized that I've allowed for life circumstances. We've been here for 2 years, because he originally was diagnosed in 2015, in October of 2015. And we've been here for 2 years, and I keep on holding on to the fact that, either he'll get better and he'll God forbid he'll pass on. I'm hoping there will be some frustrated folks looking to leave Florida in my area so I can get my first deal. Kelly, you know what? I was thinking the exact same thing this morning. There will actually be a lot of people getting ready to leave. The only downside to that is that most of these properties that they're be willing to walk away from completely are the ones that actually have some damage done to them. So you might be able to pick up some properties at a good deal, but you'll probably have to either do the work yourself or find someone that's willing to do the work for you, either as a trade or whatever. But that's definitely a great opportunity for you. Hey, good morning, Ashley. And I wish you the best, Kelly. Let me know exactly how I can support you in that goal. I have plenty of friends down there in Florida that's exactly what they do. So going back to my story here is like, I'm thinking about my life, and I'm like, I've been putting it off. I was like, for me, ideally, I wouldn't want to live in Northern California. It's not where I want to raise my kids. It's not where I think it's the best place for us long term. I grew up in Los Angeles. I don't think that's the best place either. And awesome. I'm glad to hear that, Kelly. So I'm looking at, I lived in Idaho for the longest time. It was in eastern Idaho. The snow there is a bit rough, a little too harsh for my wife. These winters are. But when I look at Boise, that's where my sister's at right now. I think that's going to be a great opportunity for us to live somewhere in that realms, because I want to have some kind of like a getaway place, that not a getaway in case like a natural disaster or something like that. Palm Beach, beautiful. Yeah, I know a lot of people in Palm Beach. Hit me up privately. And I would love to have live in Boise with all of the amenities that come with living in a big city, but have a cabin somewhere off of the Salmon River in the middle of the state that it's a family retreat. We can go there in the summertime. We can go there in the wintertime. If things got crazy in the city for whatever reason, yeah, the Midwest is great. I would love to live in Nebraska or Missouri, somewhere like that, but my wife says, nah, Missouri's like Tornado Alley, and Nebraska, she thinks it might be too harsh of a winter. I really don't know. I've never been there. But I'm thinking like, okay, I want to get, to this place where, we have the life that we want. And again, it doesn't matter where you live or whatever. The problem that I've run into is I've been drifting for these last 2 years. Here, I've stopped. I can take this off so you can see my beautiful eyes. I've stopped thinking about where it was that I want to live. I'm just like, okay, I'm kind of in this holding pattern here, waiting for something to happen. And either, like I mentioned, he gets better, or, he's ready to go, by the way. He's just like, I've had a great life. I got these kids. I'm ready. I'm like, he keeps telling us he's ready. So, I think, he keeps on manifesting that's probably what's going to happen. And the beautiful part about it is that we're all ready too. His whole family's like, yeah, Dad, we love you. We don't want to see you suffer. We'd rather have you go quick than just, wither and just, shrink, because we know your body can't handle the treatment. So it's interesting. We're all, at peace with his decision to do this. But in the meantime, it's sad, because I look at my business and I've just kind of drifted. Like, you know what? I'll just happen to find a property. Oh, hey, I found the property here. And I'm not going after anything aggressively. And part of the reason why is because I don't have any clear-cut direction on where I want to go. And I was thinking about this as I was meditating this morning. I was like, you know what, Ryan, what you need to do is get real clear. Get crystal clear on what it is that you want for not just your business, but get crystal clear on what you want your body to look like, what you want your relationship with God to look like, what you want your relationship with your wife and kids to look like, and of course what you want your business to look like. And so I've decided that in the next 3 years, I'll be 40. I just turned 37. So by 40, I'm going to write out exactly what it is I want in those 4 areas of my life. I'm going to sign it and I'm going to date it, and then I'm going to print it. So I write everything by hand. I feel like that, by doing that, I'm engaging there's a lot of reason for that, on the metaphysical aspect of why I do that. But once I'm done with that, I'm actually going to write it up and I'm actually going to print it out and I'm going to put it on my wall so I can see it, so I know what I'm moving towards daily, weekly, monthly, and annually for the next 3 years. But here's the point that I'm making is I've been drifting on these waves of life. I had another post on here, I've been in the back seat. I've been letting other people drive me around town. I've been sitting in the back seat when I realized, no, this is my vehicle. This is my life. I can make it exactly what I want it to be. If I'm not content with the fruits, the results of what I'm doing, then I need to change my roots. You know what? It comes like, there's this tree and you have these roots that are below the ground that no one can see. So like this is like the ground. You can't see what's below here, but you can see everything above here, the fruits, everything that's happening. And if I don't like the fruits, or the fruits are bitter, or they're not exactly what I want them to be, I got to change, the actions that I'm putting into this. Yeah, bro. Look, thanks. Ashley called you, bro. I just turned 37. I'll be 40 in 3 years. So wait till I shave this off. You'll see what kind of baby face I actually had. I grew this beard just so I could look a little bit older. I realized that I don't need to do that. When I had a mortgage company, I was 23 years old and I looked like I was 16. People would come in, the largest financial transaction of their life, and they'd be looking at me like, oh crap, what are we doing here? Oh, okay, it's back. So yeah, they'd walk in. You could just see the look on their faces, like, oh my gosh, what are we doing here? Quick, get out of here before we recognize us, And I would sit there and I would tell them, I'd be like, oh, don't worry, my dad couldn't make it today, but don't worry, he told me exactly what I needed to tell you. And they'd like laugh, like, oh, he knows what we're talking. He knows what you can see it in our faces. And we start talking, and as soon as I open my mouth, they're like, oh crap, this kid knows what he's talking about. He really does know, inside and out, the mortgage industry, what's happening with credit and all those different. Oh, okay. I'd go door knocking, and I figured like, I need to look older or whatever, and that's all BS. It's all about, relationships and things like that, who I can go ahead and relate to. And so, but again, that comes down to not having a purpose. Like I said, driven to and fro on like a wave on the sea, just not knowing where I'm going. And that's because I wasn't clear specifics on exactly what it is that I want. So I'll go ahead and I'll share with you today. I'm going to write down what it is that I want for my life for the next 3 years. So when on time I'm 40, I got some direction, I got some drive that I'm pushing toward, and I'll give you an example of what it looks like. But I totally believe in this 100%. Like you've heard that dreams that, or basically, if you have goals that they're not written down, that they're just dreams or wishes. And until you write them down, they don't become concrete. And so it's a part of writing them down that makes you actually, committed to it. And I'm going to sign sign it and date it and move forward. So I encourage you to do the same thing. I mean, you might think this is kind of like, woo, spiritual kind of stuff, like go out there and do this stuff. But I tell you what, the times that I've done this in my life where I've decided, hey, I'm going to do this by this date, magic happens. Doors open, windows, opportunities, relationships, they just come in, they just line up. And I encourage you to do the same thing. You never know what is waiting around the corner. And until you actually decide that this is the direction you're going to go, I mean, those opportunities cannot present themselves to you. And I truly believe that, and it's something that I think about. Like I'll put myself, I set goals. Like, what? By the end of the month, I'm going to get this property. I'm going to get a property under contract. I kid you not. So I did this. So yesterday I told myself, okay, I'm going to get one more property by the end of the month. There's a property I've been tracking. I can't find this guy. And so on Saturday I went with my son, Wilson, and I knocked on the door again. No one was there at the house. And I needed that today. I think I need to rewrite these things over and over every week, make sure they're consistent in my mind. That's a good thing, Kelly. By me seeing it in my office, I see it daily. I have a stand-up desk, so I'm looking at the wall and I can see it. But anyway, I went with Wilson, and across the street from the house is this church, and so I was like, hey, it's Saturday, there's someone there. So I knocked on the door, opened it up, I went inside, and this lady's like, oh, hey, what's going on? And I asked her about the guy across the street. She's like, oh, I haven't seen anyone there for a long time, but there's no guy there, just a bunch of gals, a bunch of ladies that live there. And I'm like, bunch of ladies? So I have TLO, and I looked him up, I found out that, and again, this house has just been sitting vacant for a really, really, really long time. So I looked at the address of where supposedly he used to live about 6 or 7 or 8 years ago. And TLO says that he might have possibly moved back to that location. So I drive over there. I'm there with Wilson. I'm knocking on the door. No one's answering. The car's in the driveway, but someone's there. No one's answering. So I start talking to the neighbors. No one knows. The guy across the street goes, no, that guy doesn't live there, but it's a bunch of girls. And I'm like, oh, a bunch of girls there, a bunch of girls at this other place. Maybe, just maybe, it might be, a coincidence or, some kind of relationship. So at this house, it says something Magic Creations. And magic was spelled very, janky, like MAJICK something. I don't know. Weird, just weird. So I'm like, okay. And I looked up the homeowner's name. So it's a very common name. Last name was Young, like Jennifer Young. So I looked her up, and I found out that in my small town here, that there is a Jennifer Young with, the owner of Magic Creations, spelled all, funky like. And I'm like, this is the same girl. So anyway, I go ahead, click on it, try to add her as a friend. Nothing happens. So the next day, this was Saturday. So my wife goes, why'd you message this girl? Why don't you just message her and just like become, instead of trying to become her friend, message her. I'm like, well, typically you have to add as a friend to message them. So anyway, I messaged her, and I go, hey, do you know so-and-so at this address? She goes, yeah, I actually do. I'm like, do you know what his plans are with this house? She's like, actually I don't, but sometimes he leaves for long periods of times and goes and visits his family. He's kind of a recluse. He lives there. I'm like, well, that house has not been lived in for a long time. I can tell you that. So anyway, she's like, well, give me your number and I'll pass it on to the guy. I'm in contact with him frequently. I'm like, there it is. You know what? I told myself, whether it's going to be this house or another house, relationships, things that are like, variances in conversation, things that came together that, sparked the idea like, hey, why don't I check this out, try this out, talk to this person, jump on Facebook. That's why I put it on the thing on the Bootstrap group, is like, man, when you're skip tracing, be sure that you use Facebook. It is a wonderful resource and tool. So she knows who the guy is. She's passing my name and number along. But again, I made the determination that I'm going to go get this house. If I didn't do that, like honestly, all the month of August, I just kind of sat on my butt. I didn't really do anything. I'm like, I got income coming in. I don't need to do anything. September, I decided, you know what? I need to get at least one property this month. And because I made the decision, I set out to go make it happen. And that's all that writing down does. It sets the decision. So anyway, I'm going to go inside and spend the next 2.5 hours with my wife and go through the ultrasound and make sure that our baby is healthy and sound. And I'm Ryan Nickel, and just want to let you know that, gosh, I love every single one of you and the feedback and the comments. And I do my very best to help you in any way I possibly can. And look forward in the next month and a half for a training coming out. It's going to be completely free. It's going to be start to finish, exactly what I do to go out and get deals. And I'll have several examples of me talking to people at the doorstep, on the phone, going over contracts, and you'll be able to hear all of this stuff, if not see it live. All right, remember, you are one deal away from changing your entire financial future, and I will see you. Entrance is in the front of the building, so that's where I'll head out. But anyway, I will go ahead and make that, like I said, available to you for free. I started this with nothing, absolutely nothing. I spent so much money trying to make this work that I feel all you out there. It's difficult, and you don't know who to trust, whether it's proven, whether it's not, especially if you're going to spend a lot of money. You don't have to do any of that stuff. I'm going to go ahead and give you everything I have. The reason I want to do that is, one, I want to see you succeed, and two, someday be my partner on stuff. All right, I'm Ryan Nickel, and just remember, you're one deal away from changing your entire financial future. I'll see you later.